head-to-head, guys. Welcome into PuckTime, WagerTalk TV, Western Conference Finals, Game 1, and it feels good to have a new series to talk about. Carm, the best part of the playoffs, we sweat through, we grind through all these series, and then just like that, a new matchup to break down for potentially 7 games. And we are officially at that point. 1 game here, 1 game there, 1 game a day. West, East, and here we are, Colorado and Vegas. And, you know, we talked about this before, but Carm, we saw at some shops were showing the exact same odds for both series as far as Colorado as a favorite and Carolina as a favorite. Now, money has trickled in different ways, but it doesn't always mean that game 1's going to have those same odds. So look forward to seeing the graphic you have for us with the lines for today on the game. But how are you, man? Ready for a brand new series?
I am ready for a new series. I'm ready for 2 new series. And congratulations to your Montreal Canadiens on getting the job done in OT. Game 7 OT, man. How much better does it get than a Game 7 overtime? Everyone's just like on the edge of their seats. People biting their fingernails, terrible habit to have. But or downing beers, but that was a great series. And these 2 could be some very good series. It depends. 4 teams left. Never say never with any of these teams. Hopefully you can make it out to a game, Andrew, and see your Canadiens play, because it's one of those bucket list things. You never know if they're going to make a cup, but they're in the conference finals. With that said, Vegas and Colorado tonight. And I love the way the NHL finally they have it right. There's no off days. We're going to get NHL every single day until we get to the Stanley Cup Finals. So I'm looking forward to that as well too. We'll talk about the tonight's game. We're going to talk about the Montreal Carolina series price. I'm not sure if you have any prop plays up, but I do have a pod play. I had a pod play ready on the last show and then completely forgot to do it. So with that said, I do have a pod play. I won't forget it this time around. Andrew, if you haven't had your coffee already, make sure you grab it because we are in for a long day. How are you guys in the chat doing? Seth, Titans, Giovanni, Pockets. Guys, do us a favor. We are so close, I am telling you, to 250,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. We need to get there. Come on, man. You guys can do it. If I know you've already done so, but if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. And if you have a couple friends that are sports fans, send them a link to the YouTube page and have them subscribe as well too. With that said, Mr. McInnis and your Montreal Canadiens, you've had your coffee.
Carv, I gotta say, as much as I appreciate the 40-second break there to grab a double espresso shot, you know, I can't not put it out in the universe that maybe it was a good thing the pod didn't get out there. I mean, whether my prop didn't get out there, your pod didn't get out there, sometimes it's just fate. And you know, my prop bet, I'll tell you, the top line for Montreal, I was considering, you know, I had all these props I gave out on our show for that series. And then I was like, you know what? We're going to go and we're going to take some top guys. And the weirdest thing for me, and look, I understand first period was good. Second and third period wasn't great. Overtime, they came out well. The weirdest thing, and it's like keeping me positive as well, we'll talk about it tomorrow, is the top line has practically been invisible for that team. So I had actually a play of the day selected involving Slafkovsky, and that guy was about as useful as Casper the Ghost that night. So that didn't really matter. But when it comes to this game tonight here, Colorado and Vegas, I'm curious what you think about the whole injury situation, because I talked about this when you and I spoke last, when we kind of previewed the opening odds. And you know, you never really know what to believe in the playoffs, right? Because maybe they're throwing out smoke. Maybe they're trying to psych out the their other teams. But there's something that I noticed in the media and I couldn't really ignore it. So I'm curious what you think about the injury situation. Lehkonen was kind of day-to-day. Makar was day-to-day, some of these guys. So check this out. This is from Sam Malinsky, and he probably shouldn't have said what he said here. And I'm not telling you this means that Cale Makar is not playing, but he was asked what he would say to fans worrying about missing Makar for game one. His response, I don't know what to tell them. Obviously, it would be great to have him out there. You can't replace him, and we're going to miss him out there. Hopefully, we can still get it done without him. Does that not sound like a quote saying he's not going to be there in game one? I mean, he literally says, hopefully we can still get it done without him.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Did he not get the message? It's supposed to be a secret.
You never know what's going on with these guys, Andrew, because injuries are, I mean, they keep them close to the vest. No one, the teams are never going to report what exactly is wrong with a player. A case in point, Florida, 3 years back in the Stanley Cup against the Vegas Golden Knights, in which they lost and had numerous injuries in that Stanley Cup Finals. You get guys like like Mark Stone now. This one with Makar. And Makar wasn't. You could tell there's something wrong with Makar in the last round. He wasn't at his best, but Colorado still has so many tools on that team that it was enough to get the job done, and they got it done. You know what I mean? You look at the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid. Fractured foot, but he still played. They froze it. He played. He still had the speed, but he wasn't himself. He wasn't the same Connor McDavid. Even if he would have made a difference? Probably not, because he can't play in goal. So, or defense for the team. Teams are never going to disclose it. Makar wasn't the Makar that he was all season long in this past series. So we'll see whether it's something short-term, whether it's long-term. We'll know more during the morning skate if he was out there. I'm going to guess if he's out there skating with the team, but they put the designation that he's a game time decision, then there's probably a good chance that he's not going to play. You don't risk, maybe giving a guy an extra couple days off maybe helps him out. So we'll see what happens with that. But
maybe a little mistake, though, A little mistake in the interview there. I kind of let that slip out.
You never know. Listen, you never know. Sometimes you can send out some. People talk about fake news all the time. Sometimes it just could be something that they're tossing out there, and the team starts preparing a little differently. These teams know each other. At the end of the day, neither team is going to surprise the other. As far as I'm concerned, do they know each other? It's going to be a good series. At least I hope it is. Whether it's going to be a long one remains to be seen. But with that said, Andrew, minus 194, plus 158 on Vegas. Totals at 6 now, 6 minus 120, but there are 6.5s popping up all over the place right now. But when I did this graphic, it was at minus 120, and a couple of places like Circa and the Superbook still have 6s up there. So we shall see. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I think, again, I've been talking about this a lot, and we're going to find out how much it really matters here, Carm. But I'm a believer that there is a step up for the Vegas Golden Knights to face against this Avalanche team, compared to who they saw against Anaheim and Utah. And this isn't as much of an insult to Vegas, Anaheim, or Utah as it really is a compliment towards the Colorado Avalanche. Let's not forget, Minnesota, one of the best teams in the league all year long, they lose in 5 games. And even though they were probably on their way to winning game, what was it? Winning the last game. I mean, this is going to be one that I think they should probably be able to get the edge, just because I think Vegas hasn't seen a team like them yet. When you look at the 5th game for Colorado, in that game that they were able to will their way to a win, even though they played their worst hockey. That shows how dangerous this team really can be. And let's not forget, we got Dorofeyev on the other side, Marner. If Stone is healthy, it's a difference. Jack Eichel, a veteran decor, a little bit. I told you this from the start. My plan already, and this is a hint for everybody out there, this is more than likely going to be my plan unless something changes. Whatever the total result is for tonight, I'll probably look for the opposite in some way, shape, or form in game 2. But as far as tonight is concerned, Carm, we're going back to my old ways here. We're taking the team total over 3.5 for Colorado. I think they find the net. I think Vegas has looked like a better defensive team and had better goaltending when they have been at home and not on the road. So I think that we're going to see Vegas a bit shocked by the pace in this one. But I think it takes some time to settle down. You know, we have some guys in the chat right now, Carm, talking about, hey, lean under. Could we see an under? Could we see a lower scoring game? And there is that sort of feel out process when it comes to teams starting out their series a little bit here. But one thing I kind of look at is that Colorado throughout the series, they got better and better as the series went on at home. But if we're being frank, they really haven't put on that good of a show in front of their home crowd. Given the rest, given the time to get a little healthier, I know Makar might not be out there. It could be a time to take advantage of the home ice advantage of the last change. But I do think that if Makar is out there, people will overreact. You know how it is. People love to overreact. So if you want the money line or team total or puck line or regulation, I think this is one of those times where you actually wait until 5, 6 o'clock to make your decision, 7 o'clock to make your decision, because could be wrong here, Carm, but I don't think this number goes up for Colorado. I think it could only go down.
Yeah, I tend to agree. The thing, Andrew, is I think if Makar's announced that he's in the lineup, and I'll probably look for some info during the show or when you're discussing some props. We'll see. The price could go up a little bit, but I think it's pretty much plateaued to where it's going to be like in that 195 to maybe minus 200 range. Some Vegas money could come in. They always say the game you want to win when you're an underdog in a series and you start the first 2 on the road, the game you want to win or try and win is game 1. So you're playing with that, and Prez hates that phrase, house money in game 2, and putting all the pressure on the home team. It's just the Avs are a perfect 4-0 at home thus far. They've only lost 1 game, I believe, in these playoffs. They're 8-1. This is why they're huge favorites in this series. Does Makar make a difference? Of course, he makes a difference. You always want one of your best players out there. But this Avs team as a whole has played some pretty good defense as well too in these playoffs. It's just a matter of when you look at it, who has the advantage here? Goaltending wise, it lies with Colorado in my eyes. I think Carter Hart's had a very good playoffs thus far, Andrew. But I'm just waiting for that shoe to fall, that shoe to drop, where he has like one very brutal game, and then the question marks come in as of, do you start him in the next game or do you go to your backup? I'm not completely sold on Carter Hart yet. And to that point, not to offend any Vegas fans, but I'm not sold on the Knights yet, because I get you can only play the teams they put in front of you, but they had one of the easiest closeouts to finish the regular season, make the playoffs, win the Pacific Division, and then from there, obviously they get Utah, a team that's not really battle tested in the playoffs like Vegas was with veterans, and then they get the Anaheim Ducks getting into the playoffs, getting by the Edmonton Oilers, and likely in a good bounce spot, and Anaheim made it a little uneasy on them as well too. Now you get a Colorado side who have won a cup, who have a lot of stars on that team. They're very solid down the middle. They may or may not be missing Makar, but they've won without him in the past, and they can win without him in the future. So I believe that the Avs have to be the right play in game one.
Yeah, and I think that to your point, it's that game one is so important, but you know what's going to be even more important? Game two, if they lose game one. So it's like every game becomes important if you drop game one. But you're right, like because game one, it's like an even playing field. Nobody knows who's better yet. We've talked about it a lot. It's a whole new ball game once the postseason begins. When you look at this team. And you talked about how you feel about with Carter Hart in his game. Remember, I brought this up on the show to you last week, Carm. I noticed his numbers were just like abnormally better at home, abnormally better. Like he's someone that I was looking to back on home ice, but on the road it was a little bit different. So, and just taking a look, I still find it amusing that we've seen a goaltending change twice for Colorado in the matter of two series where they've lost one game. Think about that. One game they've lost. They made two goalie changes. Scott Wedgwood, his last three games, .972 save percentage, goals against per game, 0.67, expected goals against per game, 1.75. And looking at home ice for him, saves per game, 20.82. And, I think a lot doesn't get said enough about this Avalanche defense. Like we hear Natchez, McKinnon, Makar, like about their offensive ability. Do we maybe not give them enough credit for their defensive ability? And I'll give Prez some credit. Not that he needs me tooting his horn, but he has talked about this as well, that some of these great teams, you think about them and you think about them as overs. Oh, they're so good, so they're overs. Right. But I think that when you look at it, like I think I potentially would look towards the under on the save prop for Scott Wedgwood. And the funny thing is, sometimes you look towards under on a save prop and you think, oh, that means they're probably going to lose. But whether it's Wedgwood or whether it's Blackwood, because Blackwood has good numbers too, I would go under 23.5 because whether or not we see the official lineup come out with Blackwood or Wedgwood, and I think it actually might be Blackwood, so my site could have been wrong on that. Carm, this defense is underrated. And what's the best way to play defense? What do people always say? The best defense is a good offense. Just hold on to the puck. Hold on to the puck. So that's a pick I'll give out for you right here. Under 23.5 saves for Mackenzie Blackwood. I did think I saw Wedgwood earlier this morning, but I think it will be Blackwood between the pipes.
Yeah, just a couple of notes. First, to Simon in our chat, who says I didn't congratulate you on Montreal's win. I did right at the top of the show, and I did by phone as well too.
True.
So, when we discussed it real quickly before I get back to this game here, right after that Sabres game ended, I just switched it to Netflix and started watching Netflix. I told you about it. It's just. I don't get so heavily invested in it. I'm more protective of my money. As long as my money wins and my bets win, that's all that matters. That's why I think you need to disconnect from sort of that bias towards your home teams and always betting on them. I didn't have a bet in Game 7, so I didn't have to worry about it. I just enjoyed the game. But Andrew, Makar was on the ice this morning prior to the Colorado skate. So that tells me two things. If he's on the ice prior to the skate, he's testing something out, and that normally isn't a good sign that he's going to be part of the morning skate and he's going to be in the lineup. So we shall see what happens with the Makar thing. More news as it comes out. Before the show's over, we'll try and report. Andrew, if you look at this series, and you make a good point of it, everyone people focus in on Colorado, it's like, man, they can score at will. Their offense is great, kind of like the Edmonton Oilers. They can score goals. No one talks about their defense, as you mentioned, Wedgwood had a fantastic season. He had to shoulder a bulk of it early on while Blackwood was injured. They've got a good goaltending tandem there that even though it's odd that a team that's 8-1 in the playoffs makes a goaltending switch, like you said, that the team has total confidence in either goalie being there. And the defense are still very good, even absent of Cale Makar being in the lineup. So it's one little piece of the puzzle that is missing, but it is still there for this team. So we shall see. The Vegas Golden Knights I think they've gotten better as the playoffs have progressed. But as you mentioned, and rightfully so, this is truly their toughest test of the playoffs. It is a tough one against the Avs. This is going to be a good series. We'll see whether it's a physical series. I don't think it's going to be a physical series. I don't think we're going to see a ton of power plays that come the way of roughing penalties or boarding penalties. I think the penalties that we see are going to be either tripping penalties because guys are quick, or some high sticks because they can't keep themselves from that stick on the ground. But I think those are the only places where we're going to see them, or maybe some of those bench minors for too many men on the ice. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Vegas isn't going to come out and drop the gloves 5 seconds into the game to try and set a tone with Colorado. That's the wrong thing to do. So we shall see. It should be a good series. I wish I was in Vegas right now to go and catch some of those games, but and Vegas is undefeated with me in the building, 11-0. Let's not forget that. So Derek Stevens, if you're watching this at Circa right now on the big screen, 11-0. You might want to bring me, fly me in on the private jet and take me to a game.
Carm, speaking of Vegas being undefeated, it's always fun, and you got to experience it with me going there for the first time when we were there for some WagerTalk stuff. You've been there a ton of times, and I know it's still fun, but when you get there off the plane, it's your first time, your eyes are just wide open. My friend just got back from taking his girlfriend there, and to say that what happens at Vegas stays at Vegas. She is now a lover of blackjack. She loves to bet on sports now. She likes to play craps. She never went there with a gambling bone in her body. They ended up getting like a free night here. They went to this and that. They went to the Grand Canyon. They went to this tour. I mean, when people go to Vegas and they don't like the shows or they don't like gambling, it takes about, I think, 10 minutes until all that stuff captivates your attention. And she had an absolute blast. So then there's people like you that go there and actually leave making money with whether it's Euro soccer or me with CFL. Probably the only guy asking, hey, can you turn the CFL game on in Circa Sportsbook? I don't think anybody really cares about that. But yeah, Vegas, it's a place that, especially when it's someone's first time going, what an experience that people can have. Yeah. I have a couple props I wanted to mention before I get to my prop of the day, Carm, and these are just from the leaderboard section. So if anybody was curious, because I'm a big fan, guys, of head-to-head props, right? So it's a brand new series. It's a fresh slate. So let's find out who has done well against who. So Mitch Marner has point/assist 5 straight games against the Colorado Avalanche. Brock Nelson has a point in 5 of his last 6 games played against Vegas. Carm, you can get plus 105 on that one. How about Thomas Hertl? You can get him at plus 125 at DK to get a point. He has a point in 4 of his last 5 against the Colorado Avalanche. Barbashev plus 105, 4 of his last 6 against the Avalanche. I could tell you McInnis has a point in 6 straight, but that's minus 600, Carm. So you probably don't want that one as far as a prop is concerned. And the next one I will just say is the shots on goal count, the shots prop. Look, if you like shot props, these can be kind of interesting for you. Jack Eichel over his 2.5, and Nathan McKinnon over 3.5. You can take him. He has hit that in 5 of his last 6 games against Vegas. So the cool thing is about these series is that, you get players that can have a new opportunity to make a name for themselves, but you also got to look at the head-to-head stuff because sometimes certain players just play better against certain teams. You can't explain it, but they match up well.
It's the guy who gets under their skin. It's kind of like, with the Leafs and the Bruins, it always seemed to be that it was whether it was Bergeron or what's his face, God, it's not in my mind.
Lucic or Pastrnak or Marchand.
Pastrnak, Marchand would get under their skin and always find a way to beat them. You become sometimes so obsessed with trying to stop someone that, or trying to stop a team that you miss out on some of the guys who come back to bite you in the ass, for lack of a better word, Andrew. But we'll see if we can get some information on Makar as we go along. Andrew, your Habs are playing tomorrow. Let's talk about the series price on this one. So you mentioned it's a similar series price, -275 plus 225 on Montreal. If you like this series to go 7 games, then you take the Habs plus 1.5 games and you're getting plus money at plus 110. If you think it finishes in 6 or less and it's not Montreal winning, then you take the Canes -1.5 games, -135. Give us your unbiased opinion on this one, Andrew.
The unbiased opinion, Carm, right off the bat is that Montreal needs, and I mean needs, to get a split in Carolina. The only good news is they've been a better road team than they have been at home at the Bell Center when it comes to their play this playoffs. I don't know if they get more nervous. I don't know if they feel more comfortable on the road, whatever it might be. We watched a Buffalo team excel on road ice as well and struggle at home. That's going to be the big thing. So when I look at this series, I think that if we see Carolina win the first 2 games, I'll be the first one to tell you it's probably going to be Carolina in 5. I was doing a show on the Hockey News. I'm working with them a couple times a week yesterday, and we had a really, really good debate on the show. And I was like the moderator. I was right in between, Carm, and there's one guy to my right, one guy to my left. They're just going at it. And the debate was, how much rest is too much rest? And to me, when you look at 12 days, I think if I was a coach or GM, I would rather 6 days, 5 days, maybe even 7 days. 12 days is a lot. So what I really think, my non-biased opinion, I think Montreal gets the split. I think Montreal can win game 1 of this series. I think if you want Carolina, get a better price after game 1 is over. But I think what you could do is you could do some type of parlay with, Carolina and over 5.5 if you like Carolina. I mean, I wouldn't take the money line price for the series. And even that -1.5 games at -135, I feel like you can find a way to do it. But I think if you want to find a dance partner for this, over 5.5 games in the series, or you can bet individually. Series goes 6 games, series goes 7 games. I don't think we see a gentleman's sweep here, Carm, and the reason is that I don't think Carolina wins both games at home. The record on the road has been proven for Montreal, and I'll tell you, Carolina, they have such a dangerous team because they know how to slow the game down, make it boring, suppress their opponent. But hey, look, maybe I got to find my Montreal Canadiens hat somewhere and put it on for what I'm about to say here. But Carm, they've played the 2 worst teams in the playoffs. I know they're really, really good, but I think that if this series ends up going 1-1 after the first 2 games, are you with me or against me that this is going to go over 5.5 games?
I think 6 is probably the max in the series. I don't think it goes 7. But to that point, obviously, it remains to be seen. This is a different Canes team than Canes teams of the years past. But It always feels like a rinse and repeat with Carolina. We've seen it the last 3 years. They breeze through the opening rounds, and then they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then they just lay an egg. Get it? It was the Florida Panthers a couple times, the New York Rangers, actually not even the Rangers, Tampa Bay. They get there, and then they can't get any further. It's the one knock I could think against Rod Brindamore is that he can get them to the conference finals. He can't get them past it. This is likely the year and their best chance to get past it and get into the Stanley Cup because they're a legit Stanley Cup contender. They're a better team this year with the additions that they've made to the team. So it remains to be seen. Andrew, what do you say to the people that that say the Canadiens have beaten the Carolina Hurricanes 5 of the last 6 meetings they've played? They've beaten them all 3 meetings this season during the regular season, 3-1, 5-2, and 7-5. So the Canadiens are 3-0 going into this one, and 5-1 their last 6 meetings, dating back to last year's games as well too. Do you just toss that out the window and say regular season's regular season? This is the playoffs.
So my way of looking at it is, if I'm being honest, I don't think Carolina cares at all. I don't think Carolina would care, but I do think that it can give Montreal some type of confidence. If they came into this and they had lost 4 in a row against Carolina, that can be a little bit frustrating. Carolina, as far as injuries are concerned and as far as rest is concerned, and I mentioned that debate that I was kind of in on yesterday on the show I was on, the one guy that was arguing for it being 12 days is good. He said, absolutely, the more rest, the better. But when I look at the last, meetings between these teams, the thing that's the most fascinating for me, Carm, is that I'm not sure if you have it right in front of you, but I believe there was one game that was 3-1 and there was one game that was like 7-5.
Yeah.
So that's what I find kind of interesting, is that there was the ability to win both type of games. But we got to say this. Freddie Anderson, when you look at the Conn Smythe Trophy winning odds, he's right up there. How does the rest help a goaltender not playing in 12 days? Because if Anderson plays the way he plays, because Carm, look, I know you'll be the first person to probably tell me this, and I've got my friends telling me this every 2 hours of the day. UPL probably should have had that overtime shot. It's not the greatest goal, but that's how a lot of Game 7 goals happen.
Yeah.
Frederik Andersen is supposed to be a lot better than either one of the goalies for Buffalo. But he's a little bit up there in age. He's not Lawrence Presman in age, but he's up there in age. So how much will that affect him? How much will that affect him? We'll find out.
So, the interesting thing is, you look at and again, I don't put a lot of stock in what happened during the regular season. You can look at it sometimes and say, and look at the situations, make sure they weren't back-to-backs for a team, they weren't in a bad scheduling spot, and say, the Canadiens played the Canes very tough. You look at it, Montreal scored in those 3 games, 15 goals across those 3 games. 12 of those goals, Andrew, were 5-on-5 goals. 1 power play and 2 empty netters, or it's either 12 goals and 3 empty netters, I believe. 5-on-5 is a very good indicator, because sometimes you'll see a crooked score line and you're like, oh, they killed them. And then you look at specialty teams and they had 4 power play goals. It changes the complexion of a game and how that game is played. Again, I don't put a lot of stock into regular season because the playoffs are a completely different beast. You're not just playing a one-off and then not playing this team again for another month. You are playing this same team over the course of possibly 7 games in a 12-day span. And that's going to test you, because teams will make the necessary corrections and adjustments each and every game. Montreal is very good at making the adjustments against the Buffalo Sabres. Whether they can against the Canes remains to be seen. I think the Canadiens have to win game 1, Andrew, more so than game 2. I think not winning game 1 is just going to put all the pressure on the Canadiens to have to win game 2 or return home down 2-0. And we know the Canes are playing extremely well, and Montreal weren't world beaters at home in that last round. So, with that said, that's why I don't think it goes 7. I think the series gets decided in 6. I will cheer for you from a distance, a long distance on Montreal, just because they're also the last remaining Canadian team, although all 4 teams have a ton of Canadians on them. But I digress. We won't get there. We won't get into that one.
If you were on that show with me yesterday that I was talking about, which side would you have been on as far as the rest is concerned? Is 12 days a negative thing?
Listen, it's always going to be somewhat of a negative thing, but you can look at like Olympic breaks, which were, almost 18, 19 days long, and see how teams came out of it. And some teams didn't skip a beat.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to look at that. That gives you an indication. Rod Bittermore, over the course of like the 12 days, probably had 4, maybe 5. They practice every day, but he probably had 4, maybe 5 hard practices where you literally put it into these guys for a good 60 minutes, 90 minutes, kind of like a coach would do when a team has a disappointing game and played extremely bad, and you make them pay for it the next morning on the ice. Yeah. I think to keep these guys at the level that they're at, Carolina practiced hard. So I'm not really worried about that. Practicing hard and not having to worry about injury is also important as well too. Now, does 12 days off hurt? Is there rust? There could be on the power play units. There very well could be. But is that offset by the fact that the Montreal Canadiens are coming off of a Game 7 emotional roller coaster game in which they built a 2-0 lead, blew a 2-0 lead, went to overtime, and then eventually won it on the road? And that's their second 7-game series of these opening playoffs. Or do they run out of steam at some point? Young squad, a lot left in those legs, but does one basically offset the other? And I tend to believe it does. So then it comes back to who is the better team overall, and the better team overall is the Carolina Hurricanes. So with that said, no, it's my honest opinion, Andrew. I would love to say the Montreal Canadiens are the better team, but they're not. Carolina was one of the best teams in the league this season, definitely the best team in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, yeah, they're ahead of schedule. There's no hiding it. They're ahead of schedule. 110%. They're ahead of schedule. So
if the Canadiens get bounced in 4 games in this series, there is nothing to be embarrassed about in the series. The Montreal Canadiens made it farther than anybody who's not a Montreal Canadiens fan thought they would.
Yeah,
absolutely. So are they ahead of the thing? Yeah, but these guys are coming together, and they're only going to get better. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah.
Be happy. One thing crazy, the second round, and you're only going to get better.
You'll like this one, and this hopefully can show my non-bias a little bit here. The Montreal Canadiens have lost more games this playoffs than all 3 other teams remaining combined. All 3 teams combined.
Really? Wow.
I mean, that is crazy when you think about it. Look, Carolina has yet to lose a game, man. They haven't lost.
Yeah.
Colorado lost one game.
What you're saying is they're due, right?
They're
due to lose.
But that is crazy. They've lost 6 games. They've lost more games than anybody else combined.
Andrew, before you get into a player prop, guys, I'm going to ask you guys again. I don't do this very often, but please, if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 250,000 subscribers. I want to hit 250. We're going to hit it before the World Cup, but I want to hit 250 before the weekend gets here. Come on, man. We're like 1,000 or less before we hit that 250 range. It's a milestone, and then we'll aim for the next milestone. So, and of course, hit that like button and drop a comment in the comment section when this show gets posted afterwards, and let us know who your best bet is and who you think is going to make the Stanley Cup Finals. Which two teams in the Stanley Cup Finals? I'd love to hear it. With that said, Andrew, give us a player prop that we can make some money off of.
Carm, let's do it. Let's give you a player prop. I got one that I really like here. Second line player here for the Colorado Avalanche. Before I get into that, we'll see if this ends up turning out here on the page. A little bit smaller than I would have liked it to with this graphic, but that's a little bit too bad here. But anyway, look, I wanted to bring this up here, guys. Last 7 days at WagerTalk.com, 8-1. 88.9% win percentage, plus 20 units. It has been a fantastic run. Slovenia yesterday, plus 2.5. Yes, Slovenia in World Hockey. Montreal Canadiens, Finland, Norway, Switzerland twice over Montreal Canadiens. And the one loss was Colorado, minus 1.5 games. It has been a fantastic run, to put it lightly, guys. And yesterday was a huge day because I was super excited to, not just keep the run going, but, to not be betting just the big teams, right, in the World Hockey Championship. To cash a plus 2.5 ticket on Slovenia was fantastic. Number one at Wager Talk this month of May, plus 57 units in 1 month. And I'll tell you guys, I was complaining to Carm before the show started with how quick and fast these World Hockey Championship lines are moving. You might not believe it, but there's been now twice where I was going to have a 5% play and the lines just started spiking, moving around too much, where I didn't want to give you guys, a minus 150 or whatever for a 5% play. This is a great package available right now at Wager Talk, where you can go ahead and take $100 off a 30-day all-access pass. 10 days for free if you buy this package, all right? You're going to get any MLB from me, any World Hockey, any NHL, anything that I have. When we're cold, we're cold. We're still here. We're doing puck time every day, guys. When we're hot, we got to tell you about it. 57 units in the month of May. It's only May 20th. Let's try and keep it going. I got a 4% World Hockey play this afternoon. We got a best bet going for tomorrow, game one, Habs and Hurricanes. And look forward to hopefully a couple winners tonight as well in baseball. So let's keep it going, guys. Head over to wt.buzz/AM. 8-1 last 7 days. And taking a look at the month of May right now, the month of May, only 4 losses in the entire month for me. So the player prop, we have Artturi Lehkonen with 1 point at plus 115. This guy continues to be a playoff gamer. Continues to be a big-time guy for them, but he's also kind of the secondary scorer for them. He's not your Martin Necas. He is not your Nathan McKinnon. He is probably not even a third best scorer on this team, but he continuously gets the job done, and most importantly, there is value with the plus 115 for him. He is the second-line left winger. He is back. He is healthy. He is ready to roll here. He's on the second unit power play for Colorado. And when all the best players are worried about the other guys, nobody's really concerned about Artturi Lehkonen, and that's why he will cash us a point tonight. So plus 115, guys. Let's try and get on another good run with these player props at plus 115. Let's cash this ticket. And this will be a client play for me at wagertalk.com tonight. A rare player prop client play for me at WagerTalk. Carm, a little bit long for me there. I know I had to go into the pitch, but, it's been a pretty good run, man. We'll try and keep it going.
Dude, you keep going. 57 units is absolutely unbelievable. You guys got to give Andrew a follow. Head over to the page, his page, of course, and take advantage of that deal. And while you're there, stop by at mine as well, too. Andrew, a couple updates on the show before I get to a pod play. Number one, it's an optional skate for Colorado this morning, so there's quite a few players that are not on the ice. Makar was out there for the optional, just sort of skating around. Scott Wedgwood was in the starters crease. So he should be the goalie in goal tonight for them. And they have the news conference coming up in an hour. Bednar for Colorado, the Colorado coach, might get some insight as to whether they're playing or not. And you can watch that price, whether you watch it on the WagerTalk free live lines or Odds Logic, where you can get 7 days for free. And those are real-time odds changes. You can find out right away where that money is going. But if you like, as Andrew mentioned, if you like the Vegas Golden Knights, you might get a little better price if Makar is in the lineup. But then that's also a bad thing if Makar is in the lineup, Andrew. With that said, let's get to let me pop this up on the screen there, a pod play for you guys. And there it is. Obviously played this when it was at 6. At 6.5, I probably would stay away from it, but you can still get some 6s out there. Over 6, minus 120. There's still a few books hanging that line. I think game 1 of both of these series are likely going to see some scoring. We've seen that, and it's been a common theme throughout the playoffs thus far. Game 1s have tended to be higher scoring games, with the exception of any of the Carolina games, or 8 games thus far. But we're seeing some scoring, and I think with these two, we're likely to see it again. They're very familiar with each other. They've had a couple of OT games of this season. They've scored some goals, and I see some goals being scored tonight as well, too. Over 6, minus 120 is your pod play.
Karma, I always say this to you, but when you got the pods and we've got the overs, let's get some goals. Let's get some goals. Yes. Who doesn't love cheering on a high-scoring game? I know I do, and these players have been chomping at the bit. They've been ready to go. They've been waiting around, and sometimes it helps with defense, but sometimes it also just sparks their energy level as it comes to their offense. And I got to love the fact that McInnis's showing some personality. They asked him, how do you get through the dog days of the grind of the NHL playoffs? He looked at the reporter like he was the biggest idiot. He said, what do you mean get through this? This is the best part. He goes, this is the most fun. He said the dog days of the NHL season is November and December, when you're already in first place and you have to play all these games in the winter. He goes, this is the most fun time. So, Carm, let's get some goals. Best of luck to you on the over. Let's cash that Lehkonen player prop at plus 115. Make sure you sign up for all of Carmine's plays, wt.buzz/CB, cashing tickets in multiple sports. Carm's having a fantastic playoffs. Yeah. And you can get $100 off a 30-day pass, and you'll get 10 extra days as well. It's the best deal going right now at the website, I believe, Carm.
It definitely is. And the next 30 days are kind of huge. I would say obviously the Stanley Cup playoffs, which that deal would cover right through to the Stanley Cup, because the Stanley Cup should be over by I think the 12th or 13th. The World Cup, the first week of the World Cup kicks in as well too. So you're going to get that. The Europa League Championship final goes today, and then the Champions League final goes on the 30th. So not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, and plenty of soccer in between. And I've got 2 big plays coming up as well too. I like them too much not to make them 5s. So those will be posted a little later on today. If you're picking up that package, that's what you're getting as well too. Those 5% plays as well too. 2 plays up for me: a best bet in the Europa League final today, and a 4% best bet in tonight's game 1 of the Western Conference Series. Andrew, what do you got up at WagerTalk? And close us out, man. Send us home.
We got a best bet going for Montreal and Carolina. Game 1. We've got 1 prop so far. You guys know what it is for Vegas and Colorado. Anything else will be added to the package. Best bet, 4% play, World Hockey Championships. That goes middle of the afternoon. I was telling Carmine about it before the show went live, telling him he has to get on this play. So I encourage you guys to do so as well. But package available right now, World Hockey plus the NHL. Don't buy one play, buy the package. Same thing we say all the time. If you guys are following Carmine's World Cup, you're going to buy one play, or you're going to buy the entire World Cup and get every single play. That's the move here. this afternoon. Best bet 4% in World Hockey Championships. Hell of a show. A lot of stuff to break down here. Yesterday, I'll tell you what, the only person that was happy that there was no hockey was probably my girlfriend, because I got to watch whatever she wanted to watch. But hockey's back, baby. Hockey is back every single night, and I can't wait. So she got to watch her show for one night, and then we are back to hockey for the next couple weeks here. Not to mention, Carm, people know that, you and I talk hockey, and we're saying that, you didn't mention Montreal. Carm was one of the first people I called when I booked my flight to Montreal, guys. So, look, we talk sports every day, but we talk off the show as well and always text each other, and I'm pretty pumped. So hopefully I'm going to a game in Montreal next week, and I'll be posting all kinds of pictures as well. And hopefully we get our other crazy Montreal fan from WagerTalk with us as well, and I cannot wait for that. So, all right, guys, that will do it for the show. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place on WagerTalk TV. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the show, and comment below one guy that will get 1 point tonight in the hockey game. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.